What's up, you guys? Welcome to the 20th episode of the Grab My Banner podcast. It's been 20 episodes, boys. That's a milestone right there.
That's big.
That's a big milestone. And for a big milestone, let's cheers. Cheers.
Let's cheers.
Cheers. Oh, Troy's trying to... Okay.
Oh.
It's a Smirnoff Ice,
Come on,
Troy.
Yeah,
come on, Troy. Get that
Troy.
cap open.
Troy,
It's a twist off. He doesn't know.
Okay,
how to
you
twist.
got it. All right, cheers.
There we
Cheers.
go. Now we can finally do it.
It's been 20 episodes, an incredible run so far, and with that incredible run, we have a fantastic episode here for you guys today. We interviewed Someone Who Leaks. Follow him on Twitter at SomeoneWhoLeaks. He reveals a lot of great information for Season 8, including who the new legend is going to be, some of the guns we might see in the future, and some other stuff we could see in Apex coming very soon. So check out that interview. Boys, let's get episode 20 underway with the Raise Energy question. Use code BANNER for Raise Energy for 15% off. Which pet do you think each legend would have?
Can we start with the easy one?
Yeah.
Bloodhound and his crow.
Bloodhound and his crow,
that's
But
the
that's
easy
like
one.
he already has that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who's really the pet in that relationship? I mean,
Good
without
question.
the crow, Bloodhound really has no abilities at all.
Well, okay.
True.
I'm surprised I didn't get
Well,
flack
I
for
mean,
that.
he
Is
has
it a,
technology still, but the crow's lit.
I'm surprised I didn't get flack for that. Is it a crow or is it a raven? I really set that
I
up.
think
for
it
you
is a
guys.
raven, but
It might be
I
a
was
raven.
trying to get you guys to jump on it.
Raven's definitely
way to
smarter
fuck
than
that
a
up.
crow, but yeah.
It might
What?
be a
Dude,
raven,
crows
but
are
it's a
hella
bitch-ass
smart.
crow.
Crows aren't smart.
Crows are smart as fuck, actually.
No, they're fucking not.
Yes, they are.
They look
Crows
weird.
are actually brilliant. I swear.
Okay, you teach
Troy,
a crow
you
to
and-
do something.
I
and then-
can. Dude, there's been numerous different documented instances where people have trained crows to pick up shiny things and deposit it in a specific box on their windowsill for a treat.
I said Pathfinder's favorite pet would be a Keurig. Makes a lot of noise.
That's real.
You got to It still requires some assembly and some things, so Pathfinder would have some fun changing out the little pods, doing all of its things, making sure it's moving properly.
He can't even drink the coffee. That
Yeah,
it
but
makes.
that's what I'm saying. Like, just to hear the noise, I think he'd be like, "That's awesome. That's
Keurig.
my pet." Yeah, and he could have.
That'd be lit.
There's an assortment of different colors. Okay, there's plenty of different colors. You've got all the different types of K cups. He might be like, you know what, my Keurig is acting up ever since I got the donut shop coffee one. I'm going to switch over to the Starbucks blend. Hopefully, my pet Keurig will take to that one a little bit better.
Dude, I had Pathfinder for like a parakeet, like sparrow kind of guy.
That's actually way better than mine. Fuck myself.
a parakeet.
Like,
Parakeet would be how
I could see him like just hanging around with one tiny little bird on his fucking shoulder. Like that seems like a Pathfinder thing to do.
Dude, that's so much better
Yeah,
than mine.
definitely. Yeah,
That's
dude.
so much better than
can
mine.
see that.
And the cool thing about birds too would be they would talk back to him. So if he'd say hi friend, the bird would say hi friend back, and he'd feel like he actually had a friend.
That'd
Well,
be lit.
That is so much better than mine. Fuck me.
Hello.
Well,
hate
the
myself.
other thing is like when he beeps, they might tweet.
Yes.
Yeah,
That'd
that'd
be
be hella
awesome.
cool.
He could think it's like, oh, you understand me. No,
Dude,
it really
yeah,
doesn't. But
That's
I
so
know.
dope.
I
That's
know.
such a good one.
Also, I was thinking it's kind of a combination of the two of yours because I was like, it has to be something that's technology related. But I also saw it being like something that was like cute, so I was thinking a Tamagotchi.
That would
that's
be.
That would be good.
That's
Yeah.
pretty spot
'Cause
on.
It's both, bro.
Bro, if
Yeah.
Pathfinder buys one Tamagotchi, he's buying 250 of them
That's
because
right.
he's just gonna have him hanging off.
Yeah,
of his
it's gonna
body.
look
Bro,
like
you-
the like spark plugs on Bloodhound's hat, just like all over his body.
Oh, that's gonna be a good one. For Caustic, I knew that there was a U.S. president who had an alligator living with him in the White House. I looked it up. It was John Quincy Adams, and I think Caustic having an alligator would be perfect for him because he'd probably grow a bond with it, and he could also feed the remnants of his victims to said alligator.
Definitely.
I definitely thought that his was the most obvious, which was it was going to be a pair of children that were surgically conjoined that he would just walk around.
A human centipede.
No, not like that. Not like head to ass, but like conjoined twins where their heads are side by side.
Yeah.
Think like the big dragon on Dragon Tales.
Okay, that's not pet though. That's a human.
No, but
I mean,
he would
he
treat
wasn't
the
far
human
off
as a
from mine.
pet.
Like, listen, I have him. I want to get this out there. Caustic has had more pets than anyone else in this entire thing, and we know why.
They're just humans.
They're experiments.
Yeah.
The second is I had orphan children and identical twins.
Oh my god.
So you guys
We're
are very
on the
close.
same. See, exactly.
Listen.
We can both be right.
We all know that he got a shit ton of identical twins from his best day ever in the last episode.
For Revenant, I thought 2 hairless cats just like we saw in Lady and the Tramp, the two evil ones.
Yeah.
Naked
Hairless cats.
Just hairless cats.
Two hairless cats who are just evil and they look gross and they're disgusting. And he doesn't have to worry about picking anything up because they're hairless. So
Except for their shit.
I honestly just said.
Oh, but cats bury their own shit. So that's a good thing. But
That's true. I said Revenant just has a snake. Like, make it easy. We know it's a fucking big ass like constrictor
you're
or some
fucking
shit.
owning me right now,
Dude,
Fuck.
Listen,
I didn't even
makes
think
sense.
about a snake.
I
It
like
makes
your
sense.
idea better, actually.
Oh, I
because
think
I will
snake.
think about like instead of it being the kind of the kind of cats that are born hairless. Think of Revenant having like two
Just
normal
shaking the
cats
cat.
that he just waxes every week, so they're all
Pets them.
they're all
It's just his
inflamed
claws
and just
on his
super
hands, just
pissed
fucking-
constantly.
He doesn't
See
even
this
feed them. He makes them go out and find their own food and makes them become like him, where he's an assassin. He makes the cats become cat assassins.
That'd be pretty sick.
He makes them compete for who gets to keep their fur that week.
I'm picturing Revenant having the cats before he became the robot. And now that he's a
Oh,
robot,
yeah.
he's just
Oh,
like,
that's real.
nah, you're just going to get my my kills.
So-
my kills are your feed.
So Brian, his cats are 300 and something years old.
No.
So
He has a snake.
Oh,
Once he became a robot, he's like, nah, I got to get a snake.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you guys have anything for Loba?
So yeah, I had some. She has a giant wolf dog that she's just super obsessed with that she just posts on Instagram all the time.
All
like
the time.
those
Like
girls.
it has its own Instagram.
Yeah. Like those
Like-
girls that have like Instagrams just for their dogs. She's one of those girls.
I had something similar, but I didn't put a big dog. I pictured the Paris Hilton purse dog.
Pomeranian?
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
little
yeah.
Pomeranian?
Yeah, the one that
Same.
fits in the purse. I
Yep.
could see that. Same thing though with the Instagram. I could still see it her having
Yeah,
Instagram.
definitely.
For Mirage, I thought he just has just shitload of big dogs. You ever
Nah.
see those Facebook videos where they open a door and just a million big dogs rush in and attack the human?
Yeah.
Listen,
I think that's Mirage in a nutshell.
if he has dogs, it's 100% a Shiba. Shibas, yeah.
You think Shiba?
If it's not that, Mirage, the only pet that I realistically see him have is a fucking goldfish. And he doesn't have one. He has 5, but never at the same time. He kills them probably each week because he does not.
So-
take
he
care of the
doesn't
pet.
kill them; they die because he
He neglects
yeah,
them.
He neglects them. Yeah.
So
And
I
I just can't see him taking care of anything.
I had a
goldfish.
totally different one. He has the monkey from Hangover.
That's awesome.
So
That's
it's
good.
Just,
Wow,
it's
that's
just
way
a
better.
monkey that's like smoking cigarettes and drinking beer. And he's just hanging out with it the whole time.
I could also see Mirage being a huge corgi guy. I don't know why.
Yeah?
It just matches up with me.
See,
Do
I
you know what a
thought
Shiba looks like?
No, is that
yeah, it's like the
close to a
meme
corgi?
animal. It's actually pretty close.
It's pretty
Oh,
close to a
yeah,
corgi.
it's similar.
Yeah, yeah.
The Doge.
No, I know which one you're
You gotta
talking about.
think
The
of the
Doge.
Doge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like,
Doge.
literally, I just see them like
I could see that.
I could see like 20 of those just popping out of his fucking door.
Yeah.
I could see him doing that. But nah, dude, it's that goldfish. He takes that thing on the fucking Mirage Voyage with him. Has to get a new one at each stop.
He probably gets sick of it. And like, what if he asks Caustic to genetically engineer one that can live in beer?
Or he gets so
No,
drunk that he drinks it.
No, dude, he gets drunk and overfeeds it. Is what happens.
That could happen.
Yeah, that's,
But when I
funny.
think goldfish, I mean, they're a boring pet, so I gave it to a boring character, which is Watson. I gave Watson the goldfish because anything more is just too much. In parentheses, boring.
No.
I actually thought this would be a cool one for Watson. She has an electric eel.
Oh, that'd be
that's
interesting.
fucking
Wouldn't
so
that be
perfect,
Wouldn't that
Kyle.
be
No.
fucking lit?
You
No.
get 2 points.
Yeah, because like
That's a crypto.
No, that's hella
crypto.
dope.
No,
it's
She's
not
shock
crypto,
shit.
Dude,
that means you
Watson,
would like.
no,
Dude,
Watson,
you can't say electric eel is anybody but Watson.
no, that's crypto. Still electronic, still that same field, all that kind of shit. And it's crypto. He has that personality that fits that a little more. Watson 100% has a little tiny bunny inside of a fucking cage that she has to feed and take care of every now and then.
Dainty.
She's too
That's
boring
it.
for that.
Yeah, she's
Nah, she's
literally
dainty.
no.
I can
Literally,
see, I
it's
can
one of
see
those
like
super
a dressed hamster.
Like it wears little clothes.
Like where, yeah,
like
where
she has
she's
fucking clothes
has
for it?
She's got
outfits
like
for it.
little hats and
Yeah,
shit.
she's like permanent pressing its
What
little
is she?
shirts.
Fucking 5?
Yeah,
It's
dude,
like Stuart Little, but without being like a real.
without being annoying as shit in his little car. Fuck that guy, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Stuart Little.
Okay.
So
We
does
are an anti-Stuart Little podcast.
right? So does Bangalore have any pets?
No.
No, fuck
No.
that. Did you have an idea for one, Troy, or no? You put on the-
No.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of for Bangalore, what she considers a pet, would be her pistol.
Yep.
That's it.
Maybe-
She cares for that thing like it's a fucking pet, and that's all that is. She
By
even
the-
names it.
By the way, speaking of Bangalore, you guys are going to hear the most Bangalore thing in the upcoming interview. Just listen for it. It is they have some sort of, I guess, passive in the works for Bangalore, and it is by far the most Bangalore shit
It's awful.
I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
So just keep an eye out for that.
Super bad.
It's awful.
All right, so I had one for Octane, and it was either one of those lizards that runs on water or
Oh, dude, so raw.
The one,
dude.
yeah, okay, those fucking little like flipper lizard things.
yeah,
Yes.
that or
On
he has
2 feet.
yeah,
Yeah.
that or he has a roadrunner, one or the other. He's got a little meep meep or he's got a little
Both of those are perfect.
I got one more that I think he would probably enjoy because he'd be trying to catch it all the time. Is a hummingbird.
Oh
I
shit,
feel like
that'd
a
be
hummingbird, because then he's like jumping off the bounce pad, like stimming,
like
trying
that.
to catch that thing. Like
No way.
that's his form of chasing the dragon.
For Octane, I said he actually has a horse, maybe a few, maybe a stable of horses. But when he takes them on walks, he doesn't ride them. He just runs alongside of them, like they're just running.
That's
down
actually
together.
pretty
Taking
sick.
a walk. That's how they do it.
I just picture,
a
like,
walk. It's more of a
Spirit.
run. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like he doesn't put it, like there's no saddles, there's none of that. He's just like, all right, let's go, and they just start sprinting.
He pulls the horses.
Yeah, he pulls the horses.
pulls the-
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Are we forgetting anybody?
No, we have a lot of
Yeah,
people.
What
I
about
mean,
Horizon, bro?
Horizon I put is just, I mean, every single time we talk about Horizon, I feel like I always just kind of revert back to my mom for whatever reason. Like she's a mom, a terrible one at that, but she just feels like a mom. So I
Dude,
just put a regular golden retriever.
She's
Just
so-
one
I
golden
mean,
retriever.
Yeah, I feel
I
that.
wouldn't say your mom's a bad mom.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about Horizon is
Just-
a terrible
just Horizon.
mom.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
just
okay.
Horizon. My mom's a great mom. I'm saying Horizon, terrible mom, because she left her kid.
Listen, I'm not saying your mom's not a beautiful woman, and she's.
Don't smile at me like that.
I'm not saying she's not, especially when there's fear in her eyes when I'm squaring up with her. But when I look at Horizon, she's so damn fine, bro. I can't think of my mom.
No.
I can't think of my mom, bro.
It's less that. It's more like
I
I'm
think it's the
thinking
red
of
hair
it.
thing.
I'm thinking of it as like I picture her. If you were to ever settle down, say for instance with Horizon, you would just have the typical white picket fence, middle class American family life with Horizon. That's how I picture
I
that.
saw her like rural princess on a horse. I wanted that.
It's
It's more of my fantasy than what's like relevant to her character, but yeah, I saw her on a horse just
That makes
bouncing.
sense.
She's bouncing,
You wanted to
lat deary.
yeah. So,
Lot dairy.
yeah,
She's
I just
so pretty, man.
Did you?
I think she's the
So is
only
her
one that's
voice
just, like,
actress. If you guys haven't seen her voice actress,
Yes.
just as pretty as Horizon.
what's her
but
name,
in real
Ellie?
life. I don't
Yeah,
know what her
very
name is.
pretty.
something like that, but
Yeah,
she's
beautiful,
good.
beautiful woman.
Yeah, so I think you're right on that. She's the only one that would have like that family dog.
White picket
You
fence.
know, like she doesn't have a dog for herself. She has a family dog.
family
She's got
dog.
a lab. She's got a whatever it is.
Okay, for Wraith, I wrote down that she has one of those white bunnies with red eyes.
Oh, the evil-looking ones
Yeah, the
that make you
evil-looking
want to
ones.
fucking die.
Yeah, those ones.
My sister
lab
had one of
bunnies.
those. It was the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I
It
think
was
she has one of
huge,
those.
bro.
Yeah, they get thick.
It was like
they're like
big.
small cats.
Yeah, it was insane. For Lifeline, I actually have a customer that has a few of these, and this is why I feel like it fits. A bunch of golden doodles. They're
Those-
just like the most happy dogs I've ever met
They
in my
are.
life. Like they bark not because they're angry, not because they're like protective. They bark because they want to talk to you. Like that's
Yeah.
I feel like that's perfect for Lifeline. Just a bunch of golden doodles.
Really.
Yeah.
I thought like because she's so able to tolerate Octane, who I think is kind of annoying. I thought of I thought of Lifeline having a goose that just followed her around and like
Just nips at her
quacked, like
ankles.
just like quacked and like was belligerent, and she would just like gently scold it in her accent.
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that.
Well, even like
Shut up, Joe.
she could be one of those dog parents where like they really don't train the dog, but they talk to it like it's a human. She could be like back to your main point about like it being like Octane. I could see that happening just as well. Like that's almost perfect.
But the
like,
dog
dead
runs
on.
the family.
Yeah, exactly.
I also can't believe you guys didn't think of the like small vanity dog for Wraith, because that's what who did you
That
say
was for
you,
Loba.
you thought for Loba.
Yeah.
I thought both of them, and but just like different types of dogs. I saw for Loba like the Pomeranian, like the big fluffy vanity dog, but
Yeah.
I saw for Wraith like the quivering, terrified Chihuahua that just like every time they take it out of the purse, it's just like catatonically shaking.
You know what I
Maybe
pictured
even a
for,
Yorkie.
You know what I pictured for Wraith? And I know this is way off base, but I pictured a Rufus from Kim Possible. The naked
Oh,
mole
yeah.
rat.
Naked mole rat.
You know why you might
I
be
can see
thinking
it.
that? Because she kind of looks like Kim Possible a little
She
bit.
does.
Not
Black
Kim
hair.
Possible. She looks like
hella
the
does.
She
evil.
looks like She-Go.
Yeah, She-Go. That's what
Yeah,
it is.
she looks
You're-
like
A little
She-Go.
bit.
Your ass looks like Ron.
Damn.
Those are fighting words.
All right, guys. Well, that'll wrap it up for the Raise Energy question of the week. Don't forget to head on down to REPP Sports, repsports.com, where you can click on Raise Energy and use code BANNER at checkout for 15% off all Raise Energy products. 2 of our lucky tournament winners got some Raise packs because I promised after the first Duos tournament that they would get a Raise pack. That is on the way over to them. They're going to get the variety pack number 1, and that is going to be badass. So head on down there, check out Raise Energy, man. It really gives you a nice little boost before you head into a gaming session. My favorite flavor is the Apollo. I say that every single week because it is so fucking good. Get that. If you take a picture, a screenshot of you buying some Raise Energy, we will send you a handwritten card because we respect those who respect us. So let's move on to the Apex News Minute, and after that, our good friend, Someone Who Leaks. Welcome to the Apex News Minute. I'm Wyatt B. Our first story of the day, the swatting needs to stop. Just a few days after Imperial Hal was swatted while streaming, Nice Wig, another popular Apex streamer, had the SWAT team knocking on his door mid-stream. Swatting is the dangerous act of calling and giving the IP address to the SWAT team on streamers, which can result in serious harm to those involved. Both Nice Wig and Hal were both okay after the incident. Moving on to our second story, Apex Legends was the 9th most tweeted about game in 2020. They were thrown on the list with other popular titles, including games such as Fortnite and Final Fantasy. And our last story of the day, Horizon lore has been scattered across Olympus. There are 4 computers all around the map that give a little bit more background to Horizon and her son Newton. This has been the Apex News Minute. Let's send it on down to our good friend Jack, also known as Someone Who Leaks. What's up, you guys? We are joined today by Someone Who Leaks, friend of the program. This is his second time on the show. Listen, we don't want to say Someone Who Leaks every single time we refer to you. So me and Brian came up with a list of names for you, and we're going to go through this list, okay? And we're going to see which one you like the best, all right? All right, so let's start with Leakamus Prime.
We also have Dr. Leaks.
Dr. Leaks is a good one. I like that one.
Pretty
We
cool.
also have Leakologist.
We
Solid.
We got Leak Mill,
Like Meek Mill.
but Leak.
And then we also have Leakonse.
Okay, I like all of them. They're great.
I think Dr. Leaks is good.
I think that's fitting.
Dr. Leaks is great. You could
Dr.
also
Leaks
call
is
me-
great.
You could call me Jack as well.
Oh, okay. Jack, that works. All right.
Yes,
Well,
that's
Dr.
very
Jack
close.
Jack is actually just better than all of those, really. It makes things a lot more simple. So I'm going with Jack as well. Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, how you been doing, Jack? How's everything been going? How was your holidays?
I'm great. Everything's been going fine. You know, tired, but that's about it.
Awesome. So I wanted to start this interview off the right way and ask the real hard-hitting questions. And I wanted to say, have you heard anything more about Olympus Fish?
Sadly, no, nothing about Olympus Fish.
But
From
it's
what
still
I could tell, it's still in there, but nothing
Just an-
since Olympus Fish.
It's just an empty box.
Yep.
Damn
I
it.
don't know.
Damn
I
it.
don't know.
I'm going to ask you that question every single time until a gigantic fish just crashes into Olympus. That's my
I can't wait.
So on a more serious note, before we get into season 8, and it's gonna be huge, has there been anything from season 7 that caught you by surprise so far?
As for stuff that's been released, probably just the way the Marvins function and the fact that you can harvest their body parts in order to sell them to other Marvins to gain loot. Thought that was a little bit grim, but, you know, that was about it. As for stuff that is to come, there really isn't too much left for this season.
Is there anything as far as new things coming out for lore before season 8 comes around?
Yes, the two lore related teasers that are coming out are going to be revolving around the Salvo ship and Fuse's bomb. Oh, and Horizon. She'll have audio logs starting Tuesday.
Now let's get into season 8 now, because we're already
Right.
close to season 7 coming to an end anyway. Season 8 is right around the corner, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot to offer. But what is the rumblings around the new legend in season 8?
All right, so Fuse. Fuse is what seems to be an older legend that was revamped. His name was Downfall, but they've adjusted him slightly. I'm not sure what his passive will be, but it seems that his tactical is some sort of grenade, probably a firebomb based on the rest of his kit, and his ultimate is a fire mortar. The mortar would work similar to Bangalore's airstrike.
Okay, so like it takes forever to come down from the sky and then it takes forever to blow up type deal, or is it like, can you go through that a little more? Or
It'll probably, I'm not, there's not too much on how it will work in the sense of detonation, but based off of what we know, it'll probably be a time detonation, as it's very powerful and you'll need some time to get out of it if you're gonna live.
Is there any chance that it could be some sort of like proximity type explosive?
Yes and no. It could possibly be based on where a player is, but I think it would be more likely that it would have to sit there for a while, and that would turn the game into a minefield. So I don't think they're going to aim for that.
so you mentioned something earlier about a salvo ship, and I'm curious, am I just being a dumb Apex player and not knowing the lore behind that, or what is that?
So Salvo is a planet that was introduced this season via the comics, and it seems to be a weapons dealer, a planet that distributes weapons, and they are joining the Syndicate to make a jointed faction that'll control the Apex games. So now that we have the Syndicate already that most of the Legends dislike, but now we have Salvo joining the joint planet God, I had a brain aneurysm right there. Holy. Like, they're united now. So
So basically,
that'll introduce Fuse, because the planet is apparently quite explosive. If you ping the ship with Octane, it'll state that everyone on Salvo has a rocket launcher.
That is badass. Do you think this could be where the contention comes in, so that Blisk can enter the games because his games are being taken over, or is that crazy?
Possibly. It could very easily be the reason why he joins the games.
When can we start seeing things that'll, hint towards Fuse in Season 8?
So things... There's won't be many more leaks coming regarding Fuse, but his teaser will begin this Friday.
So at this point, after, you saying that, I mean, is there anything in the files where they're just like, we're going to delete Bangalore because she's useless at this point?
No, they've had a really old passive ability for a while that I don't know if they plan to do anything with that or if it's scrapped now, but she was originally going to start with a gray backpack and 2 med kits.
Okay.
I mean, that's nice.
That's nice, I guess.
I'm not sure how I feel about it with the replicator being around, but it's nice.
In our last interview, we were talking about Blisk being the next legend, and it was almost certain. What happened there? Like, what's been going on, and how come Blisk is not going to be the next one? Instead, it's going to be Fuse filling his place.
So sadly, there isn't really like an exciting explanation about this or something super dramatic. It's just the fact that we realized that the list that we had of the upcoming legends, rather than being in order as it has been up until season 6, it's totally been screwed up. So there's no way we can predict the next legend until about midway through the season.
Okay, in other words, Blisk is coming.
Blisk is still coming.
It's randomized how we're getting it next. We have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he'll be in the next 4 legends, including Fuse. So by season 12 is my bet.
If he's coming in within the next 4 legends, it would make sense that maybe Ash makes it in before that. Is there anything in the files that suggests that, or is it just like you have no idea?
We don't know anymore. The only thing that we know is that the next 4 legends should be Volk, Ash, and Blisk in an undetermined order.
So now we have the new legend figured out. It looks like it's going to be Fuse. But on top of that, Season 8 hopefully has a lot more to offer rather than just a new character. Have there been any surprises as far as what weapons will be in Season 8, including some of the ones that we've been hearing about for a while?
I think it's most likely for it to be the compound bow, based on some of the things that are in the files now, which is mainly arrow sound effects, arrow types, and recently there were textures added for the bow.
I think everybody's been waiting for that bow for the longest time.
Yeah.
I've talked to people, they say if Apex gets a bow, I will start playing it. So I'm really excited for that. Mm-hmm. We've been speculating on this show about it making sense that there would be different kind of tips for the arrows. Have we seen anything that goes along those lines at all, or are we just kind of throwing shots in the dark?
There are that's something like that. There are apparently 3 types of arrows. We have no clue what any of them do, but there are 3 different variants. That's all we know.
Is that what the extra little compartment on the bottom of the screen that a lot of leaked images has been coming out? Is that what that is revolved around? The compound bow and the different type of ammo of arrows that you get?
That's actually that's based around something that was leaked back in season 2, I believe, which were bandoliers, but nothing's come of them ever since.
How would those work?
It would be another way to carry ammo and grenades so that it wouldn't take an inventory slot up. There
Oh,
were
that's-
different kinds based off of what kind of ammo or grenade, and then there were universal ones where you could choose which ones there were.
So some other things that have come to the surface as far as weapons go. We've heard some voice lines that have been leaked and released that have kind of been floating around, social media and stuff like that. One of the ones that really stood out to me was all the characters saying grenade launcher here, grenade launcher here. Does that revolve around Fuse, or is that more of like we could see grenade launchers coming into Apex in the near future?
I think it would be possible for them to add some of the explosive weapons from Titanfall. When they're saying grenade launcher, they're referring to the softball, which is the primary grenade launcher in Titanfall. So I'd expect it to come someday. Not sure when, but with the introduction of Salvo being a very explosive planet, it probably would be likely in the coming seasons.
That honestly scares me because if you watch me play any
Same.
video games, I always blow myself up. That being said, I do have one other question. We saw this a while back. It really piqued my interest because I love this kind of gun. It is a lever action rifle. Do we have any words on that? I know there's files of it and images that we've seen, but is that coming anytime soon? Can I get my hopes up yet, or is that kind of waiting?
Anytime soon is debatable, but the fact that the model is completely finished and we've already have some audio files around it, I don't know if it would come this season, but I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that it's ready to come into the game.
So it's pretty much plug and play. Whenever they want to hit the button, they're gonna shake it up a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, then I'm gonna start getting excited.
I'm
Okay.
excited already. I'm excited
right?
already.
I
So
agree.
another thing that we've been kind of thinking about, especially with this new LTM that just dropped, where you're getting fully kitted weapons and stuff from care packages. Have you seen anything in the files that points towards more of an ability-based meta or more towards a gun-based meta? Because it's like, especially with this LTM, it feels a little bit like Warzone, where they're handing out fully kitted weapons and stuff like that.
Well, I think it's going to stick to the gun meta for a little while now because based off of one image in the files, this isn't like confirming or denying anything, but there is a picture of these airdrop takeover going into Kings Canyon. So it might stay into next season when Kings Canyon comes back, but it also might not. It could just be for a future, event.
Okay, kind of like a play test. Just have it ready, just in case type
Yeah,
deal. Okay.
Indeed.
As far as the balancing on the abilities and everything like that, have you seen any options for any nerfs or buffs to certain characters, namely, must picks like Wraith and Gibraltar or anything like that?
No, there aren't really buffs in the files that we can view, but I'm pretty sure that the caustic buff that was supposed to come in the last patch is still being tested.
Okay, so it just got reverted back to testing then.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm actually perfectly fine with that. I didn't think Caustic needed a buff, so I'm kind of on the happy seat right now.
Yeah, same.
So in our first interview, it seemed like things were pretty civil between you guys, the devs and the leakers. That has since changed.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of contentious moments in the last few weeks. Can you give me the rundown of what's been going on in that relationship? Because it's been funny to watch from afar, but I'm sure as somebody who's in it, it's probably not as fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too caught up in it. It's mainly Tobias that's in the heat of everything. And it's because of how many things that he's leaked from, that are behind Respawn's doors and not even in the files yet. But, yeah, it's not enjoyable whatsoever. I've not talked to many devs personally about it. I've talked to a couple, but none of them are pleased. One of them actually resorted to spying in our Discord server.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did they manage to do that? Did somebody let him in, or?
I mean, my Discord's public.
Oh.
So we only realized it when they sent us a screenshot of them in the Discord, not realizing that we'd kind of realize. It was strange, to say the least.
Are you guys, as a group, the data miners, stating like there are certain things we want to hold back from actually conveying, or like more so than you were before? Because I know at one point when all the legends got released, that it kind of just blew the lid off that. Are you guys going back to refraining? And if so, did that come from a conversation you guys had with the devs, or is it something just done internally? Because it seems like you guys are holding on to a little more information now than you guys were in the past.
Yeah, we're definitely holding on to a lot more than we used to, and it is out of respect for the devs. I'm doing it in and of myself. I haven't really talked to other people about it, but I'm not sure what Tobias thinks about it. I know Shrugtool is definitely not going to post a lot of things. He didn't post any of the Fuse-related animations or his teasers that I did, but there are certain points that we will not go to.
I think that's actually in a good conscience there.
And did that conversation come from right after the huge blow up with Tobias?
Not really. It just kind of developed over time up until now.
Okay. Yeah, because, I mean, I remember when that whole thing went down, you guys didn't even leak the Fight Night trailer at all. It was an Apex account that did it, but for whatever reason, people were on leakers' backs just for sharing information that Apex released themselves. Did that feel almost, like, unfair? Because there was a lot of hate going your guys' way.
Yeah, and it was the funny thing is that I was blamed for the most part of it because that trailer was out for 3 days, but no one had posted anything about it. And like at one night, it was like 3 a.m. I got a DM and someone just sent me the file for the trailer, so I posted it. And after that, everything went down. So yeah, that was awful.
So for the most part, right now, how would you say your relationship with the devs are currently?
Pretty good, because I think the devs came to realize that it was their fault that the thing got leaked. Of course we're going to report on it or leak it because it's already out there.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. If it's out news outside, it should be free reign for anyone to talk about, let alone leakers who pretty much just data mine. You know, like you guys probably knew about that ahead of time too. It's my guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
So I had another question that a lot of people seem to ask when it comes to the future of Apex, and that is, LTMs and future modes that will stay in the game permanently, because we've had a lot of fun LTMs recently. Obviously, we had the Winners Express, and that one is like a fan favorite. But there's been a lot of rumblings about a future either free-for-all mode revolved around Skulltown or different modes that will stay permanently in the game rather than LTMs. Have you seen anything, or can you say anything about a future mode coming into the game that people will be able to play outside of the regular trios and duos battle royale game mode?
Yeah, there seems to be a freelance option coming, which is going to just be PvE, kind of like what we had in Season 5. And there should be an arena mode coming to the game. Not sure when, but it seems that it's being play tested right now for sure.
By arena mode, what does that entail?
It'll probably be more like 3v3s or 1v1s in a set area, like you said, probably maybe Skulltown.
Also, I was just wondering, will Wraith's OnlyFans be linked in the upcoming patch notes? Because I know it's been getting popular. Everybody wants the Wraith's OnlyFans. It's out there. We know it's real. Wraith definitely has an OnlyFans. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've found the password in the files. I'm not going to give it out publicly due to respect,
Can you DM me it?
Yeah, I got you. Hold up.
It's disgusting what she's doing. Really, honestly, you have to give me the username and the password so I can find it and delete it permanently.
Oh yeah,
forever.
For sure, man.
After the research.
Yeah, after the research has been done. I got to make sure. I mean, I can't just, I'm a journalist. I have to research it. So I have to make sure.
Maybe back some of it onto a Google Drive. Who knows?
Yeah, well, just so I can send it to the FBI.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Leak Mill, Leak Onse, Leakologist, Dr. Leaks, a.k.a. Jack, thank you for hopping on the show once again. Thank you for giving us the rundown. We'll be having you on soon here.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks, man.
No problem.
Huge shout out to Jack for hopping on the show with us once again. I want to thank him for coming on. Fantastic interview as always. He's always great to have on the show. Don't forget to follow him on Twitter at SomeoneWhoLeaks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our Reddit discussion. And this time it actually comes from Reddit. And I'm seeing some glares across the table here because we've had a little bit of a discussion about this already. So this comes from a Redditor named Ghost Ali Riza, who posted a video of them making an artwork of the Gunsmith thing from Call of Duty Warzone, but they had transferred it over to Apex, and it looked like looks like they took a lot of time on this. Troy's already putting on the bullshit goggles.
Those fucking goggles on.
He's already got the bullshit goggles on. So, that being said, Why or why don't you think that this would be good to set up into Apex? Explain.
Do not put this into the fucking game.
Why not?
It is not in the spirit of a battle royale. A battle royale has the RNG. You need to have these set attachments that do a fixed thing every time. It doesn't have to be disclaimed. You know that the purple attachment's better than the blue, and the gold is better than the purple. You know that like for example, barrel stabilizer. Obviously, it gets better as it goes up in color. You don't need to have all this other random shit and pre-customization to your guns that you're going to pick up off the ground. You're supposed to build your gun up, play with the shitty guns, and you get rewarded from looting or killing people in this game, being good at the game. You don't need to just come in and be like, oh yeah, I've played so long that I'm just going to start with the best fucking guns in the game no matter what and be perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. I don't think it needs to have that. I don't even like the airdrops that are coming in right now. I think that takes away from what the game actually is.
You're referring to the airdrops with fully kitted weapons in the
Yes.
LTM right now?
Yes,
okay.
yes. I don't think that there needs to be that many of them. I'm okay with an airdrop or two, but I don't like the fact that it's coming with fully kitted weapons. But the whole thing is we're not talking about them in the gun or in the drops, which I already don't like. We're talking about you pre-customizing a gun before you even get into the lobby.
Right. I think that I would love to see beyond the skins, like being able to do cosmetic changes to the weapon. Cosmetic changes. I would love to be able to make adjustments to the way that my gun looks, all within the context of my skin. So like changing specific, like being able to change out the sights if I feel like it, or like being able to add a suppressor just for looks. That'd be tight. But I think that what we saw, if it was to be real, is kind of a necessity for if they're going to have like a team deathmatch kind of mode.
Now, before we get
I
too
think that's
deep into
way more
that,
appropriate.
yeah. So before we get into that, it seems like because Shrugtold did tweet out, and we will talk about this on next week's episode. There is some sort of arena mode coming to Kings Canyon where there will be 3v3 team deathmatch, and there are 4 set classes in that mode. But if we're let's keep the discussion on the actual BR itself. The team deathmatch mode, I 100% agree with you. That would be awesome to have something like that. But I do think there's some utility in having these different types of loadouts and stuff like that you can adjust your gun with. Troy, now how do you feel about this in the actual BR part of the game?
I think that it makes looting and picking things up in terms of weapon attachments on the ground less relevant, unless there's some sort of unless the adjustments that you make in your gunsmithing screen are very minor. And then, like for example, if the difference between a white barrel stabilizer and whatever sort of recoil stabilization you can do in the gunsmithing was about the same, where the most that you could add to a weapon is about the equivalent of like some white component, then I don't think it breaks the game too much. It just makes it so you can tweak the weapon slightly in your favor, which I don't think would be too broken. But if you make it so that you can kit a gun out to where it's at purple or gold quality, it makes the looting component of the game a lot less relevant, and I think it really does. I think it changes Apex's ethos to be more like Call of Duty, which I personally would like, but for the people that love Apex for Apex, I think it's a big loss.
Now, I'm a big Apex for Apex guy. I've been playing this game since launch, but there's an idea that I think would not be bad at all, and I think it would actually add a gigantic dimension to this game if it were possible. Now, obviously, we talk about, Apex has always had white is the worst one. You've got blue, purple, gold, and all that different type of stuff. The color tells you how good the attachment is. Now, what if in the Gunsmith, back at the main hub of the game before you enter in, what if, for example, a gun like the Alternator, who doesn't really stand a chance to the R99 in a 1v1, really doesn't have that much on it, what if you were able to pick the type of attachment that each level had? So, for instance, say your white barrel, you could choose from a list of different white barrels what it could do. Same with the blue, same with the purple. So when you are in-game, you have a specially built alternator for yourself. And it doesn't change the ground loot at all, because you see a purple, you pick up a purple. But it's your purple. It's what you choose to be that purple. You can turn an alternator into a different type of gun based on the style that you like to play, and it doesn't change anything within the actual BR version of the game, you get to customize it. Same with the stock, same with the sight, same with all of that. It's literally just adding another dimension to the game, and we see it with Warzone all the time on all the different social medias, right?
Yeah.
As much as I love Apex, it needs to have another dimension, because here's why. If you are able to do stuff like that, how much more content can you create? Being like, guys, I found the perfect setup for an alternator that you can run in Apex Legends and go ahead and do all that type of stuff. Now you show it off.
It's definitely a plus. I just don't have the confidence that having the game set up the way it is, that the devs could implement a balanced system like that without a million completely broken weapon combinations that would take a long time to work out in terms of their balancing, because they already have so much difficulty balancing the ability of the legends and the weapons as they are. So I think that adding, a bunch more combinations, which exponentially increase the more variations of combinations you can make, especially if at every specific level for every specific weapon they have to come up with balanced combinations that you can choose from. I don't think that it's logistically possible for them to do that without breaking the game.
Now let's say in a perfect world, right?
In a perfect world, yeah.
No,
that sounds dope.
Would that not, if in a perfect world where everything can remain balanced and you can actually go through and make your own, basically, it's not even a create a class. It kind of is, but it isn't. You're not clicking on create a class and making this. In a perfect world where you have your ideal setup for a gun that you'd maybe never use, let's say the alternator, let's say, like, a lot of people don't use the alternator, a lot of people don't use the flatline. If you could tailor it to where you can actually use it and maybe it loses some of its lore, maybe it's a up-close flatline, maybe it's a further away flatline where it's more of a sniper rifle. If you could do that in a perfect world where everything could remain balanced, would that not add a massive, gigantic chapter to a game that would bring more people in?
No. Can I
100% it would. You guys, there's no way it doesn't add to the game.
I would like
if it, in a completely balanced world, there's no way.
No, let me tell you straight
I would
up.
like it. I would be more attracted to Apex if it had something like that.
Okay, let me go first. In a game like Apex, okay, and in gaming in general, because I've played a shit ton of Call of Duty and I know what I'm talking about here. In a game where you can have attachments that do specific things, even if it's based on, white does this and blue does that and purple does this and this is that, there's going to become a meta. Because you're just talking about the alternator. You're talking about the shitty gun that you're trying to make good. You're not talking about the R99 that's already good and you're going to stack some shit on top of it to make it even better. What if they just had shit that reduced recoil? Now the R99 is a laser that you don't have to pull down on, and you just rip people for 200 with one clip, and you don't even have to give a shit.
But you're forgetting that in the Gunsmith, there are things that make it go up in certain things, but every single time, and we've all played Modern Warfare, something else goes down.
There has to be appropriate trade-offs.
But just like in Warzone, you can create a balance. Like, oh, okay, this takes away this from this, then I just find another attachment that equals that out, and then I don't have to give a fuck about, taking that part out.
But you always pay. Like, for example, I like playing with zero recoil weapons. I like high damage, zero recoil, but that means in the context of Call of Duty, my aim down sight speed is metric ass. So, and I have zero hip fire ability.
And you have low mobility.
And I have low mobility. So there's always going to be trade-offs, and we're talking about in a perfect world.
I'm talking about
because you have to think, you already have an R99, which is great, and you can already get barrel stabilizers that make it better. So it's not like there's not already a mechanic where you can make good guns better. We're just talking about having more options on how you make guns better with appropriate and balanced drawbacks for each specific thing you would choose.
And before you get into it, Brian, because I know you have a lot, you mentioned it would create a meta. Do we not already have a meta? There is a clear and defined meta, especially whenever the R99 is in the game. It's clear. Like, there is already a meta. So why not make it to where there's another chapter of the game to where people can have more fun customizing and doing all that stuff? Because right now, all you can do is you look at your skins, you get your gun, that's pretty much it. And what Troy said, too, cosmetically, that would be badass if you could just make an alternator look different than what it looks like.
I wouldn't be upset with the cosmetic changes, but I think that changing the stats or abilities of the guns by putting on certain attachments One, I've always hated that in Call of Duty because sometimes the attachments make the gun look really ugly and you have to put them on anyways because they're fucking meta. And two, I just think that is a whole bunch of hoops and bullshit to jump through. And I think it creates a meta in a bad way to where, like, Call of Duty has a meta to where there's only maybe 2 or 3 guns that you can use. Otherwise, you get clapped every single game. So I don't want to come to a place where Apex has a meta to where, like, say you can only use the Hemlock and the Mastiff because they have attachments on the Mastiff to make the Mastiff shoot farther or whatever the fuck, or like make sure that the spread is tightened so then you just rip people for 100 every time no matter what, and then you have a Hemlock that just burst fires you to death because it has, you know, exponentially faster fire rate or something. That's like
what if it
stupid.
reduces spread by 15%, but it reduces damage by 15%? You know,
we're
what I mean?
automatically assuming
Yeah,
that they
we're
can't
saying that
balance
it's-
this. I'm just saying in a perfect
balanced.
world.
So because it's like, okay, well, I can hit you from way further with the Mastiff now, but I max out at 70. It's like, well, is that a good trade-off? You don't know. It depends on how you play. I think it's possible. I just don't think that, especially with as many tiers, with it having it white, blue, purple, gold, for them to be able to have, you know, let's say you have 3 different directions you can go with each attachment, and each attachment has 4 levels. That's a shitload to balance, and I don't think that they have. I don't think with the way the game is structured, they have the logistic capacity to balance that and then implement it where it's even remotely balanced off the rip. It would take like a season's worth of adjustments to make it playable.
Yeah.
But if they could,
Yeah,
it
and
would be good.
What you're saying is 100% correct, and I understand that it would probably not be able to work because Apex already has enough trouble trying to balance things right now, and it totally wouldn't work. But in a perfect world, think about that. Not only for the game itself, right, but just having another chapter to where it keeps people in the game longer, that would be insane. How long would you spend time on your classes in Modern Warfare, especially when it came to Warzone? I would sit there and I would work out every single kink and all that different type of stuff and figure out, and I'm balancing things. I'm like, I don't know if I can deal with losing this ADS speed, but I also need to reduce this recoil. That kept me in the game a lot longer than I would have ever played that game because
Way more.
I didn't really play that game, but when I did, I was spending and having a lot of fun messing around with my gun and trying to find a perfect setup. Now, would it work in Apex? No, 100% it would not work. And I'm gonna let Brian get to his piece real quick because I know he's dying to talk. But I just wanted to say, would it not be exciting for you to just sit there and play Apex for a little bit longer, spend your time going through your loadouts and trying to make sure shit looked cool? Maybe you could change the way your gun looked a little bit. Even the cosmetic. If it was cosmetic alone, I would spend a lot more time playing Apex trying to make, because I think the flatline looks like shit. I would adjust that, make it look awesome, do all that different type of stuff. That would be awesome for me, and I think a lot of people would really enjoy being able to mess around with the guns, and the skins would get a little weird, but if they could figure that out, that would be really cool.
Okay. I want to start this out by saying I want to preface this. I don't hate customization in games. I actually love it. It's one of my favorite things about the game, being able to take something of your own and make it truly your own, right? I love that idea. That being said, I think unlockable attachments is a horrible idea for the health of the game. It comes down to, are you going try hard more than anyone else? A lot of times we complain about having to try so hard at this game consistently just to enjoy it. We want to be able to sit back, relax, and have fun with it. The other part is it means that people who get on every day and play for 8-10 hours a day are going to be at a very, very big advantage.
I don't think so.
In time-wise to put in to get those higher-end unlockable attachments, they will be over someone who gets on once, twice a week for 3 hours at a time.
The advantage they get from experience, I think, should be, if it was balanced, way more than the advantage of having the customized skill trees for the add-ons. Because you can still pick up a purple barrel stabilizer.
What I'm asking is, regardless, are you... Because right now, the way it's being described is those would be on the ground. You pick up that alternator that is tricked out. It's on the ground. I drop and pick up an alternator, and the person next to me picks up one. His is tricked out. Mine's not.
No. That's not what we're saying. We're saying we pick up a stock alternator, and the attachments you get are customized.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the attachments you get are customized. I'm still not the biggest fan of that. I would rather everything be standard. I don't think that the attachments should... I actually don't think the attachments should change. I don't think it's feasible. We're talking about a perfect world, but we don't live in a perfect world. I think that's a hypothetical that we're not really just running the circles on. I think that the attachments should stay the same. White, blue, purple, gold for the attachments. That being said, if you're going to implement something like this, which I don't think you should, I think it adds something to the game that's not needed, something that makes it simpler and easier for a new player to jump in and immediately be able to play and enjoy themselves. I don't think this is needed. But if you are going to implement something like this, I believe it needs to be done on a currency basis. You have X amount to spend on each weapon. The weapon itself, if you are wanting to customize it, costs this much. Say the 99, knowing that it is a meta gun, it is a top-tier gun, it is designed to be a top-tier gun, will cost you, for example, $2,000. While the alternator, being a solid gun, not horrible, it's not the P2020, so it's only going to cost you $1,200. Now, the attachments, due to that lower cost, you're able to essentially put better attachments on that alternator to help bring it up to par to compete with a R99. I don't think that those guns should be on the ground. I think those should be something that come in care packages throughout the game. Not like we have now where we have like 20 fucking care packages drop every 2 minutes, but where you have that 1, 2, 3 care packages drop a game. It's going to make those more competitive. People are going to want them more often. You're going to have your own custom gun within it, and you would be able to have that gun be the one that you're used to, that you compete with, and that you enjoy and you like, be able to go head-to-head against something else of equal stock. Now, I think that there should be a cap on, if you were to spend all your money on the best possible attachments in any combination, I think it should stop at a blue and then maybe 1 or 2 attachments purple, depending on what they are. I think the mag should obviously cost more because that's the one that relates directly to damage per second and things like that. Barrel stabilizer should cost probably a little bit under that. Stock and sights probably being the cheapest. But if you had a currency for each gun and you can only spend on one gun at a time, you're trying to pick your gun that you want to get good with, or 2 guns that you want to get good with, and if that care package drops and you have the option of one of your 2 guns, this is my gun I know I'm good with, I don't see an issue in that. But that being said, I don't think that's something needed for the game. I think picking up a gun off the ground because you've played and have unlockable attachments and just dominating a new player is going to deter new players from this game, because they're going to be like, well, I just get shit on the entire time that I come in, and I go to pick up something on the ground. I can barely even level up or get experience because I'm dying immediately. By the time I actually go and find somebody, they've taken their guns that are already pre-kitted and found the rest of the stuff that they need. I'm still trying to get to even half of that. I think that's a very bad feel for new players. At the same time, I think that it takes away from this, like I said, the spirit of a battle royale where you're searching for your guns, you're searching for your attachments and all that. You should not be able to fully kit these guns. You should not be able to get them as free as you want. You should have to compete for these guns. And I think that if you want to just make it only cosmetics, I would love that. Changing it for cosmetics, I think that's a great thing. Put an extended mag on the alternator and extended barrel. Like, it looks awesome. I don't think it should give it extra range. I don't think it should actually give it an extended mag right out the gate, because that's absurd in my mind. That adds such an advantage to someone who's just poured time into the game to get that on every gun compared to someone who is just starting at the game.
The only reason I liked this idea, honestly, if Apex stayed the same, I wouldn't have no issue. Why I liked the idea was keeping people in game longer. I think it would really help. Even if it was just cosmetic, I think that does so much for the game, because in my opinion, the alternator looks like garbage town. Yeah. And one of the alternators that dude made in the video, dude or girl, I don't know which one. Yeah, it looked like an Uzi. If I had an alternator that looked like that, the way I had also thought about it, though, was I had never said anything about lockable or unlockable. I kind of just pictured it as everybody has the same ability to use whatever they wanted. That's the way I pictured it.
That's how I'm viewing this. Like, if you want to do that for the R99 would be an expensive gun to do it with. So, one, you're going to be able to get less. You might actually only be able to get a blue attachments across the board in the R99 because it comes stock as a better gun.
So,
well, it's to help create that balance between the guns, while also providing you with a gun that you're comfortable with, so you can guarantee as you go into the late game, this is the gun I'm good with. I'm going to have this gun. If I push a care package, I will have this gun.
I will say this, though. I mean, I'd like to see Apex stay the same. If there's a team deathmatch mode, this totally changes. I'd love to see classes in a team deathmatch mode, because I'm trying to fucking dominate. What I will say, though, is if it comes down to a decision in Apex's near future where it goes towards an ability-based game rather than a gun meta-based game, I'm always going to side on the gun side because I played Overwatch and I watched how changing abilities to make bad players good fucked the whole game up. I will always want guns. So if it comes down to, hey, would you like to see more characters, or hey, would you like to see classes or different types of attachments, I'm going attachments all the way. I'd much rather see this game go towards a gun skill type game because at least with gun skill you can be like, I am better than you because I was able to hold my aim, keep you in my sights, use my positioning, do different stuff like that. When it becomes ability based, then you start to see the bad players utilize bad things, and it goes down a bad path, like I saw with Overwatch, which was one of my favorite games of all of my life, and to watch it go down that path sucked. So with Apex, I'd like to see it stick down this gun based meta. If I had to pick classes or abilities, I'm picking guns all the way. I'd pick this class system. Me and Troy, I remember one time had a 2-hour conversation strictly about the Gunsmith in Modern Warfare.
Yep.
And see,
literally, that was it. And so, like, I think people playing Apex would be like, "Fuck, I just lost that fight." I think it was because I lowered the say, for instance, in R99, I took away some of the speed of the shot and instead replaced it with something that made the recoil lower. I need to go back to the speed of the shot. I've been playing this game for a long time. I can handle the speed of the shot. Let me go back. Let me adjust my class. Adjusted it. Now you're back in game. Now you can try it again. I don't think that discourages people. I think that makes them want to try something new.
And you
I
also
am complete opposite spectrum of that. I get into that gun class, and you're like, oh, you got to make classes to make your guns good. Like the stock. How many times have we picked up a gun in Call of Duty, and you're like, oh, the stock option is just so much worse than the original.
I don't.
The recoil, the damage, the range, all
the
kinds of
stock
stuff.
option is dog.
Sometimes,
Dude,
not
yeah,
often.
no,
Always.
90% of the
I have
time.
a
Are you
different
kidding me?
experience. Sometimes I don't
Dude,
put
what
any
are you
attachments
only
on at all.
That's only true on the absolute worst guns.
Dude, literally
No.
every.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
But tell me one
It's-
gun.
okay, you're
that's
telling me
good.
the DMR.
Mhm.
You're telling me the
I
DMR
don't
in
know
Call
what
of Duty, the stock one.
The DMR.
That's the gun that's
Which
like.
one is that?
That's the one that's like running the game right now.
So you
the
guys
one
are
from
telling
you're
me
saying the one from Cold War. I haven't even gotten a chance to pick it up. Do it strictly Modern Warfare, like the new Modern Warfare
strictly
weapons.
Modern Warfare.
'Cause
Okay,
I
so you're
haven't
telling
played
me-
all the Cold War.
okay,
ones.
you're telling me that the MP5 back
Yeah.
in the day when it was good.
Amazing.
Okay, you're telling me the stock MP5 is going to compete with the MP5 with a shit ton of attachments on it.
yes,
it could
because
kill you
that-
hard as fuck. Yeah.
It
if you're
depends
better,
on-
if you're better,
in
dude,
a higher
no.
TTK game, it comes down to gun skill and positioning, and that's what Apex is all about. So even if you switch the attachments, it doesn't mean you're going to lose if you have something stock.
dude,
compared to
the
something with attachments.
MP5
Listen,
has gnarly
what I'm-
recoil. There's no doubt about that.
What
but
I'm saying
like,
is-
you can compensate if you're good. You're the one who told me that recoil control is like one of the most primary skills in being a good video game player.
Well, yeah, but look.
My
Even if that's the case, if you have an attachment, say I have an attachment for the MP5 that makes it shoot faster, now instantly my TTK is higher than yours because I have an attachment. You're just getting bucked because you have the stock.
But you also are getting higher recoil because it shoots faster.
yeah, but if I can control the recoil because I'm
then
a
you're a
good
better player.
Yeah,
Then you won because you're a better player.
Right,
No,
because if you give the bigger, like, you know how you can do caliber swaps?
Yeah.
And like, so if you do a caliber swap to a player that can't control recoil, they might have way better DPS if they landed the shots, but they can't, so they're useless. That's the trade-off. But I also think that you have the kind of player that's honest with themselves, and you have the kind of player that's not. And when I'm playing any video game, Call of Duty included, which is like weapon customization up the wazoo, I know when it's a fight where it's like, man, I got fucking outplayed, and even though, you know, maybe they have a better weapon setup than me, I miss my shots and they hit their shots. But no matter what, when you have a game that has different guns, every once in a while you're going to be outclassed by the weapons, and you'll know when that is. But if you're able to adjust individual weapons, the likelihood of you being beat specifically because they had a better gun than you actually goes down and not up. Because me with an alternator customized to me has a better chance of beating an R99 than a stock one. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is, if you're going to allow customization, it has to be a blanket across the board.
Right.
Everyone has to be allowed to have that customization.
I said that earlier.
And
That's
not,
what we said.
and I said no unlockables. I am against unlockables in it.
Okay.
It's the unlockables I have an issue with because that's going to make an imbalance between the new players and the players that have been around.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I see
It's
what you're
those two
saying.
things.
What I was saying was no unlockables, which we agree on. The part we disagree on was I was thinking, so you get a base gun, right? Say you get, I keep going back to alternator, so I'll say alternator. You pick up an alternator when you land. Say you're running down the street, you find yourself a white mag. in my head, what I was thinking was you have a base alternator. The stats are a base alternator until you start picking up attachments. Now, when you're in the Gunsmith, under white attachments for SMGs, because they rock mostly the same shit, right? There's 3 options, and these are just hypothetical options. Like, say one white mag, you have an extra bullet in it, but there's some drawback. Say there's 2 less bullets in it, but it does this differently.
See, he understands. He just doesn't like it.
Yeah, that's essentially what I was explaining. So then you get the white attachment, and it's like, yo, I got the white attachment that gives me an extra bullet, because whenever I use the alternator, I always just need that last bullet, and I never seem to find that purple mag. That's just a personal thing, right? We all have our own personal things. Like, for whatever reason, I haven't found the Volt for like 2 weeks. I don't know why. I can't find it. So I'm having to use different guns. So I grab that. I'm like, okay, I have this.
Does Troy get an attachment that puts rails on the side of the map?
Lol.
You probably should have.
The gutter ball attachment.
That's a character.
That's a backpack. It has a rail attachment in it.
That's a character thing. Either way, I think it's an interesting
Villager
discussion.
balloons coming out of my ass.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting discussion. I think it'd be something interesting to add to the game. I'm glad we had this discussion. Let's move it on down to the gambling segment of the show, because we need to roast Troy a little bit here. So let's send it on down to the gambling. All right. Gambling time, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first week that Troy was able to play in the gambling segment, and all of us had really high hopes, and he did fantastic.
He played like dog shit.
Just kidding. He played like fucking shit. He was awful.
Troy, what the fuck, dude? I had faith in you. We set your lines low for you.
They were pretty low.
They weren't pretty low.
They
were really fucking low.
Listen,
low.
let me tell you something. I bet on you to get 13 kills out of 12 games. That means every single game you just had to get 1 kill, and then 1 game you had to get 2. Can we do the math there really quick?
It was like what? Maybe 0.7 KD?
Kyle, I'll let you guess. The number of kills he got in 12 games looks like a snowman.
Is it an 8?
It's an 8. It is an 8. What's even less impressive is the average damage of 317. Now, kills we knew were going to go down since we went from 16 games to 12. Average damage, we thought everybody was going to be pretty on par, and it's just, you were almost in the 200s.
I got a lot of goose. Wait, what's that?
Yeah,
you
317.
That's not almost. That's 17.
That's close.
That's pretty close.
That's close.
Listen, if we were rounding, you're going down.
If we were rounding, I'd be at 320.
No, if we were rounding.
If we were rounding, I'd be at 320.
Troy, we don't go to the closest 10.
We're not. Who rounds as near as 100? No one. Only nerds round as near as 100.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I will say this: his max, he did have a game where he hit 1,000 damage.
That was the only time.
He also
had a teammate who liked me back.
I
had a few teammates I liked, but this guy thought I was cool too, and that's why it worked.
Hashtag Troy.
Troy's getting in a relationship.
Troy.
Every single time.
You also hit a 0-0 in that game. Would you like to go over that for us?
Yeah. Did it? I think I had more than one, didn't I?
No, you had 1 0-0.
Okay.
And you went 0-0. I think it was 91 damage and 0 kills, and then you had 3 kills for 1,030 something damage. Yeah, 1,037.
Yeah.
So let me get this straight. You struggle heavily at the very first thing this game has you do.
Dude, it was that was a tough drop. I was ambitious. That's my problem. Is I'm too ambitious sometimes. Like I wanted to get those early kills, but I can't do 2-on-1s often. What? And so like I'll get in there and I'll do a bunch of damage and I'll down a guy and then the other teammate will kill me. You know, it happens a lot. I should have tried to play it slow, but every time I wanted to play it fast. That's why I got all these zeros.
The biggest idiots at the table are the people who bet overs on Troy.
Yeah,
I am one of them.
I'm one of them.
Yeah,
twice.
I agree with
twice.
that.
I'm one of them.
The biggest idiot at the table is me putting my All-Father bet on Troy.
Oh God!
Yeah, you guys are dumb.
No. You get to sit here and get roasted. You've roasted us forever. You're going to sit here and you're going to take it.
You're the one that said it. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
the dumbest people at this table are all the people that aren't me.
What are you going to do next week?
I'm going to play with you.
Are you going to get 12 kills?
Troy, I think you actually bet
gonna
on
get 12
yourself,
kills.
didn't you? Yeah, Troy, you did bet on yourself, too.
I know I did.
Yeah, so you're also
but I didn't
part
bet
of that group.
Did I bet a lot?
You bet the second most amount of bones you could on me. or on the not on me on yourself.
Not myself.
Your second highest bet was on yourself. On your max.
I was feeling really good about
it was
that
on your max.
I was feeling really good
You
about
really
I
thought
was
you were
feeling
gonna...
good about that max too, till you fucking shit on it.
Troy could be a pseudo Kyle here to where he hits maxes. I know he only got 1,037 and he didn't hit his max, but I mean he's still relatively new. And hitting over 1,000, I got to be honest with you. I thought the other two stats he was going to hit, I did not think he was going to get anywhere near the max from the times I played with him. But he did get over 1,000, and that's something to talk about. So
I appreciate that, boys.
you did that.
I have potential in this game. I spent a lot of time.
Not a lot.
I know not a lot. You're right. But I think my potential in this game is finding a play style that works for me. And I watched two videos on strafing and crouch shotting and stuff. And that is not something that I do. So I was trying to
just don't do it at all.
To learn how to do it, and I told Wyatt this in the group chat is that my problem was I got hit less because I was strafing and crouching, but I also hit a lot less because I was strafing and crouching. So it was like I didn't. The net was not positive. I think it was a net negative. But as I get better at it, I think I'm gonna.
More practice will do better.
It's
Do you
okay.
guys want to send a few more roasts his way since he's roasted us for the last probably 18 episodes?
I just want to say you didn't get 12 kills, and that's like the easiest feat of all
Dude,
times.
his
It's
KD.
not the easiest.
No,
feat of
listen.
all
His
time.
Your
KD.
KD, what's your KD? What's
It's a
0.66.
.75.
You have a
0.75.
You have a
Brian says.
.75?
Oh no. Troy was right. It's a .66.
Oh my god, even worse.
Let's see, Troy. On top of that, in your words from a previous episode of what you've told, literally all of those, is if you're good enough, your teammates don't matter.
It's true. They don't. They don't matter.
No.
I know. They
why do you
don't.
depend
I
on your
understand.
teammates?
I never said I was good enough to make the teammates
Troy,
not matter.
I
I
need-
never said that I was at that level yet.
I need you to stop taking.
I don't think you're at that level yet either, Brian.
I think you need to stop taking this like a champ and let it get to you. Damn it!
I'm not letting it get to me. I'm just saying I never came into Apex thinking I would be good, and that's why this doesn't hurt as bad.
So to fix this, we're playing together this week. We're playing in the duos tournament, and I'm going to play with you in your games.
Yep.
I'm going to play my games solo, not because I don't want to play with Troy and don't want to do my games with Troy, because having random teammates is probably just about the same thing. I just
Dude, fuck
play.
you,
No,
right?
Seriously.
dude, fuck you.
I just play a lot of
No, dude.
Apex, and I'd like to have.
The same.
I'd
It's
like
not
to
the
have
same.
that time.
Listen, I have
when I
heart
play with you, I
and
play more
communication
reserved.
skills. You shouldn't.
I have to.
You shouldn't.
I have
No,
to.
you
Got it.
don't.
I look at the
No,
stats.
you
I
don't.
have to.
Right,
Listen,
dude.
as long as we're together, as long as you don't play, as long as you don't try to make plays when I'm not with you,
Like Brian.
like
Troy.
exactly
Troy.
like Brian.
Troy, do you?
That's exactly what I
That's
mean.
why me and Brian
That's
play
why
well
he has
together.
to play reserved.
No.
no,
That's not being
Listen,
reserved. You can be
do you-
aggressive and still be patient.
Do you want to know what it's like playing with
No.
Wyatt when he doesn't hold back?
No,
Because I've been in your
It's
shoes.
not easy.
Let me put it this way:
It's
I don't
I've
wanna
been
know.
in your shoes.
I
I've
want
been
him
the
to
new
hold
guy
back
to
in
play in
certain
Apex.
elements of the game and not hold back in others.
So Troy's going to be playing with me this week. He's going to be doing his games with me this week. His lines moved down a little bit, but this could be a really good pick'em. Speaking of the lines, let's get to those. Troy's lines this week. Total kills, it's a little lower, sitting at 12, with half at 6 and quarters at 3. His average damage is sitting at 400, and his max is 1,200. I mean, the max, I think he can hit it if he's playing with me.
Oh,
If he
you
gets some
lowered
good
my
games.
max?
Yeah, we lowered your max too.
We lowered everything.
We actually lowered every.
It was a
stat
fire
across the
sale.
board.
It's a fire sale.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put another bet in there, Brian.
Oh. Moving over to Kyle. Oh, hold on. Moving over to Kyle's lines, we have kills at 26. Kyle had himself a fantastic week with kills. That's his total. His half at 13 and quarters at 7. Average damage at 550 and max damage at 1,800. For me, my lines pretty much stay almost exactly the same. My kills are at 23 with halves at 12 and quarters at 6 with average damage at 500 and max damage at 1,550 because I did hit 1,555 this week. And then for Brian, his kills are at 16, half at 8, quarters at 4 with the average damage at 500 and the max damage at 1,400. Brian's kill line is like fucking really low. That's really low.
And I'm playing with Kyle this week. That's the other thing. Kyle and I are going to be doing our games together this week
Yes,
to
sir.
compete with
I'm gonna
Troy and
add-
Wyatt. Just have a redo of our slaughter against them.
All right, and so on top of those lines, let's get to how much bones each player has so far. Our number one bettor right now is Troy, sitting at 334 bones. Our second best bettor right now is Kyle, sitting at 279. Brian's sitting at 105, and I am in the basement once again at 98. So that's the bones totals for right here. Kyle, you said you want to get your card first.
Yeah, I want to get to it because I got some big bets we got going here. All right, so I've got a total of 179 bones I'm going to throw out on the table here. First one I'm going to throw out is on Brian. I have 29 bones on his max damage for him to hit it over. I've got 50 bones on Wyatt for his average damage to hit it over. And then I've got 100 bones on myself to hit over on my average damage, and using my gift to the Allfather bet on it, because if you can't bet on yourself, who are you going to bet on?
Exactly.
Hold on.
Exactly.
You put that on your average?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I'll go next with my card. I have a total of 5 bets out there. Now, mind you, I only have 98 bones, and my reputation here at this table is that I am the weakling bettor. But I have 70 of my 98 bones out there.
Damn.
And I got a big one on Kyle. I'll get to that last. That's my gift to the Allfather bet. On Troy, I have the first half kills over at 6 for 10 bones. I think playing with me in that first half, we'll be able to get some good games in. Usually the second half of a tournament, because we're doing our games during the tournament, usually the second half is when people start to falter and they're just trying to get the best games that they possibly can. That first half right there, I think we can do really solid on. So I'm going to say first half over on kills on Troy. I have a bet on myself, average damage over for 10 bones at 500. I just hit 513, I believe, and I really wimped out at the end there. I was just trying to finish my games up, so I think if I continue to try to get that damage up and keep it high, I can easily hit that. That's 10 bones right there. I have 2 on Brian, and even though he didn't hit either of my bets last week that I put on him, I'm going to keep betting on Brian here. I got his max damage under at 1,400 for 5 bones. Playing with Kyle, it makes me a little scared that this one could go over, but for the same reasons that I'm scared about it, the same reasons I want to bet on it, because Kyle does seem to take more of the damage a lot of the times. So under 1,400, I think that can happen, but I only put 5 bones on there. Total kills over as well, I have for Brian at 5 bones. I lost my ass on Brian last week. I lost my ass on Troy last week. I'm hesitant to put anything more than 10 bones on either of those two until I start seeing some better results. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. My biggest bet and my gift of the Allfather bet is on Kyle for his total average damage over at 550. He hit 556 this week. I think that's easy for him, especially when he's playing with somebody who is his teammate. So I went over on that. That is also my gift of the Allfather bet for 40 bones. So that I'm betting big on Kyle this week. He's let me down in the past. If he lets me down again, I wouldn't be surprised. It's just a continuing trend for him. But I got to put my bones where I feel like they have the best place to be replicated, and I think Kyle is the easiest one to bet on right now.
Okay.
That's real. That's real. I almost completely disagree with everything except for betting on me. I think that Brian and Kyle are going to mutually hold each other back. I think that they're both going to suck ass. So I bet a
There's
40.
some spite there.
I bet a
no.
There's no spite there.
He's letting his emotions get into his betting.
Now I've experienced both of you. All right, I've had you, as they say, and you're in the past. So I'm on to bigger and better things. Maybe not bigger, but certainly better. So
Damn, shots fired.
Anyway, so now Kyle, your kills 26. You usually get a lot of kills. 26 is too high when you're playing with Brian. So I put an under for 40 bones on that. Brian, your max of 1,400, not a chance. In hell, no way. Putting an under for 60 bones. All right? Not happening. Bab, I'm also sorry. This one hurt, but my Allfather bet is an 85. It's because you chose to not do your games with me. Okay, I had to do it.
There's definitely spite in this. They're not
spite. Every single bet is that spite.
These are not spiteful bets. Listen, your 1,550 max, I bet an under on that for 85.
I mean, that's
my
just,
Allfather bet.
You can't even be mad at that because that's just simple.
I mean,
that's
that's
a good bet.
You're pretty bad about that.
I also bet a 35 bone over on my 400 average because I know that playing with Bab, even if I don't end up getting the finishes, I'm going to get way more damage than I did. So I think that's an easy bet. And then I bet an over on my 1200 max of 30 bones because I thought it was still at 1400, which I thought was like real tough. But 1200, no difficulty when all 12 games, at least 10 of the 12 games, we're going to actually be able to get out there and implement our plans and strategies. Because when I played by myself, I'd say only 6 of the 12 games that I even get out of the first 2 or 3 minutes. So I didn't have as much time to get an opportunity at a max like that.
And also, I know you want to say the famous line. Go ahead.
I don't.
Yeah,
You
you
do.
know you want
Yeah,
to.
so I put 5
There's
bets. I put
can
5
feel
bets
it.
for
It's
250. What?
I feel
we
so
feel
much
spite.
I feel so much.
We
spite.
feel
No, there's no
spited.
spite. There's no. It's just reality, and I'm sorry you guys live in this reality, but you guys just hold each other back, and I'm excited to see you guys lose. Now that me and Bab have
There's
there's no spite.
the hate in this is
The hate,
hilarious.
I'm feeling the hate.
You bet
There's
against
no
your
spite at all,
teammate.
bro. There's no
I
spite
would
at
say
all.
I'm unhappy with it, but
Listen,
I'm actually happy that you
I
put
know,
these
go
bets, 'cause
ahead.
I'm going to take the lead.
Yeah,
after
dude,
this.
go for it.
Oh, man.
Go for it, man. Yeah, just like you hit your max when it really counted last season. I'm excited.
Listen, we don't
I'm excited
talk
for you to
about
come
that,
through
right?
for yourself right
I'm
now.
allowing that spite because I'm on that spite train.
Oh, my
5 bets,
God.
okay? 5 bets for a total of 250.
Okay.
And I'm sitting real pretty. So I'm excited to hear Brian's card. And the reason I read mine first was because I know Brian's not going to copy these bets.
Yeah, because they're all just against him.
Yeah, they're,
Every
it's all.
way.
It's all
They
spite
were all
bets.
spite bets.
They're
They're
not
spite
spite bets.
Definitely
Well,
No, dude.
They
No.
sounded like spite
Okay.
bets.
They're not spite
Let the
bets.
community let it be known by
Can
the
I
community.
bet whether those are spite bets or not?
Yeah, can I bet on
You'd
that?
immediately lose.
I say we let the community know that I was Troy's first partner in duos, and we sucked. And then Kyle was his next partner in duos, and they sucked more. And now he's on to Wyatt, and he has gone through and spite bet me and Kyle. And Wyatt's
In
elected
reality, me and Wyatt played first.
We did play first.
yes, but not for
Dude, get out of here. It's the same thing.
okay.
The
Either way,
premise is wrong.
either way,
Get out
let's
of
get
here.
it this way. Then you did better. You did best with Wyatt,
That's right.
and then with me, and then with Kyle. You're trending downwards.
You
On
played
top
like
of
dog
that,
shit with me.
On top of that, Wyatt has seen that trend and says, "No, I'd rather play my games with randoms."
No,
and you go
that's not why I did that.
and you
Listen.
go and bet
Listen.
under on his max because he chooses to do that. Not only
Here's
under,
the thing.
it's your gift of the Allfather
Me
bet.
and Bab, okay, Bab has the potential to play and get better statistics playing by himself. There's no doubt about that. I think me and Bab have a better chance of winning together than he would with a random. But I think if he's going for his highest possible stats, he is better off playing by himself. Because I do encourage a slower pace where you get less engagements, although we're going to try and push it.
Okay.
So I think he did the right thing there. I'm not mad about that.
Okay, so getting to my bets, I have 105 bones to bet, and I have bet 105 bones.
Let's go.
My first bet is an over on Troy. His average damage. I put 20 bones over on Troy's average damage of 400.
That's a good bet.
What a dog shit bet.
That's a good
I
bet.
think
That's
that's
awful.
I think that's a solid bet. He's going to
Are
be
you kidding me?
piggybacking off of Wyatt. He's not going to
Are you
die.
kidding me, dog?
I'm not.
You
not,
just said that's an awful bet, dude. Fuck you,
Bro,
Yeah,
I'm
No,
telling
dude,
you.
fuck you, dude.
teammate.
No,
Listen,
fuck your
listen.
smug
Wyatt.
face. Fuck your stupid smug face.
Listen, now they're spite. Here's what I'm going to say.
I don't want to hear what you had to say.
You are my favorite teammate
No, dude.
at this table currently because you're my
Wow.
teammate right now. But here's what I'll say. When we played our games, you did have some kills. You had some damage. But I took a lot of that. So I think it's a bad bet. I
Here's-
think 400's a lot.
400
No, it
is a
is
lot to
not.
average.
When you, I
When
averaged,
I'm on your team,
I
it's a
got
lot.
8 kills,
You
and I
averaged-
averaged over 300.
317.
I will apologize to you on stream if
Round
you
it
prove
up
me
to
wrong.
320,
So-
Kyle, you bitch.
fine. Even if I round you up to 320, that's 80 away on average.
That's okay.
I need to look at this.
No,
text
dude,
message real
dude,
quick.
fuck you. You over there.
What
sitting
text
over there
message
with
are
the
we talking
headset.
about?
No,
Well,
dude,
the-
I don't want to hear it. Whatever you're looking up, it's a bunch of nonsense. All right, we need Brian to get through his card.
can I
You're
read
just
this?
slowing us down.
Can I read
Oh,
this?
Jesus.
What is the text message?
Dude.
Oh, let's see.
I'm just
One
looking
kill.
At it. I'm
Fuck
just
you, dude.
looking at it.
One kill,
I can look.
234 damage.
You're gonna do this the week that we're
Zero,
paired up with each other?
71.
You're gonna
Zero,
fucking do that?
408. 0, 338. 2, 772.
You know what? You know what?
0,
You silly
36.
bitch. When
0,
you laugh, it brings out your crow's
0.
feet. You're in your 20s.
0,
All right?
108.
You silly
3,
punk ass bitch.
1037. 1,
Your Adam's apple looks like a
351.
testicle.
I wasn't even
Dude,
looking at
0,
that message.
50,
I was
I
looking.
can't
at,
believe you.
397.
I was looking.
You freaking traitor.
No,
Why
I was
would
looking
you do
at
this?
Kyle's
No,
message.
dude, stop it.
I was looking at Kyle's message. You said, "I'll send mine when I get home."
I don't
That's what
appreciate
I was
this
looking
at all.
Okay,
I don't
so
appreciate this
I got,
at all.
I got 2 more bets. I got 2 more
Unbelievable,
bets.
man. I could take it from these two,
My
but
next-
not from my teammate, man. That's
My-
messed up.
My next bet is on myself, because if you can't bet on yourself, who are you going to bet on?
Please shut up. All right, go ahead.
35 bones over on my total kills of 16. I'm playing
That
with
is
Kyle.
so stupid.
We play a lot better. I'm playing with Kyle.
That is the dumbest thing
That's
I've
a
ever heard.
really
That was
bad
worse
bet.
than the Troy
Listen,
I have one more bet, and it's my gift of the Allfather bet, and this one's on Wyatt.
one. Okay.
And more explicitly, 50 bones on Wyatt's max damage of 1,550 under.
Yeah, that's
He won't
how
hit that.
could
I
you
think
not?
that's just a freebie there.
Okay.
I don't know. I think he's playing with Troy, and he's going to have to put the
No, I'm not playing with
backpack
Troy.
on.
I'm playing solo.
Oh, you are.
He's
playing solo.
soloing, yeah.
You're still going to have to put the backpack on either way.
Dude, get out of here.
So I think
not gonna put the backpack.
He's
on.
gotta put the
All right? He's
backpack
not putting the
Bro,
backpack.
He's
this
got-
he's
no,
Dora
more
Explorer
impor-
this week.
More importantly,
He's
he's
not
got to
Dora.
put the purple
He's
backpack
not Dora,
on.
all right?
To carry you.
He's
No.
Dora, your boots.
No.
I'm Dora.
Yeah. No, actually, you're the map, and you go in the backpack.
The map doesn't weigh anything, you bitch. All right, the map is a piece of paper.
Still got to carry you.
Did you hear me?
What'd you say?
I said I hate you
Why'd you say that?
because you're betraying me. Now I'm going to think about the fact you don't believe in me.
No,
now I'm
no.
going to think about the fact you think you're putting the backpack on before you haven't even played. Now
Do
I'm
you-
going to think about the fact that you just handed Brian my stats in order to give him ammunition to hurt me.
I didn't.
All right, you handed.
I was reading
you
a
handed
text
the
message.
enemy something to hurt me with.
I had to read
Listen,
the text
we all
message.
had the stats already. We read them clearly.
Yeah, but
I
he
had
brought
to
him
read.
up.
I had to read the text message. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I don't want you to think that I don't believe in you, but we are. Last time we were in a tournament where we were trying to beat these bums. We are in a tournament where we are trying to beat all of the Grab My Banner podcast Discord, and so to say that I can't, I'm going to have to put the backpack on. Would you agree?
No.
I have to do it.
no.
It's then we
Yeah.
won't win.
Bro. No.
We have to put. I have to
you
put the backpack
can't
on.
put the backpack
Why?
on.
I have to.
No.
Wyatt.
If we're
Dude.
gonna win, I have to put the backpack on.
I think the backpack is too extreme of an analogy, and I think that we have the ability to win just by adjusting. We tried a specific tactic.
What if
Strategy.
I said?
we tried a strategy.
What
and
if
it
I
didn't work.
said I need to have a JanSport roller backpack that has wheels so I can pull it,
Yeah.
so
I
it's
was thinking-
better?
I was thinking like I was trying to think of there was a dog sledding book I read in elementary school. where-
Why? You know what? Just continue.
Okay. It was about this dog. It was a dog sledding thing, and it was like this big dog sledding tournament and the relationship between the owner and this one specific dog. And like right before the dog crosses the finish line, its heart explodes, and it's the saddest thing ever. But that wasn't the point. I was thinking about that dog's name because I was going to try to make the analogy that you were that dog, but I'm on the sled shooting from the sled. So I'm not just dead weight. I'm participatory weight.
Yeah, so like the JanSport Rolly.
No, I'm still a backpack.
No,
I
because
don't
you have
wanna be
2
a
wheels.
backpack. That doesn't. What?
And
Troy.
you never put a rolly backpack on your back, so it's not like you're on my back, but I'm still carrying you, but you have wheels and you.
More like
Well,
you're-
let's
Can we
be
just say
real
what it
about
is?
this. The rolly backpacks have more space to put things in.
But
That's
in
an
that,
upgrade.
but in that
Very true.
situation,
Are
you
you
were
calling Troy a
considering
backpack?
me a semi-fashion accessory that makes you more of a loser than you were without it.
Am I not? Because if I,
Am I not? That is the
so
best
mad.
line of this whole podcast.
I'm just asking. I didn't say.
Am I not?
I'm just asking a question.
That
Troy
was the
plays for
worst
1
part
week
of
and
this whole
gets-
podcast.
Troy plays
I
for
don't
1
know
week.
why the rolly backpacks got that stigma, okay? But they have it, and I'm not okay with being one. All right, I'm not.
Okay, then I'll be.
I hope you are the sled dog, but I hope your heart explodes.
No, you need to
Before
be
I
the
thought
sled dog.
I can be the sled dog.
Yeah, you have to be. Because I need to give you need to give me such a great performance that at the very end you have to take like a 6-hour nap afterwards because you just put all your focus in, and that's the analogy
Well,
of
if
the dog.
I'm the sled dog,
Can-
then you have to be like mushing me. I have
What?
to be.
Yeah,
You have to be.
You're like
you have
the-
to be
the- whatever the
drill
musher
sergeant.
is.
Yes,
I have to be. Yeah. Okay.
I can do that.
Close.
I'm gaining confidence now that we got the sled dog analogy in there. I feel more confident now.
You called me
I
a
don't-
rolly backpack.
But I changed it. Are humans? I'm not the same person I was 3
10
minutes
seconds ago?
and 20 seconds ago. I've changed. Brian, here's what I'll say. I'm going to change the narrative right now. Brian, that bet you put on Troy, the over on max damage, average damage, that's a great bet. I like that. I think he's going to go over on that.
Good luck.
You're just trying to win your
Don't laugh.
teammate back?
No,
Don't
I'm
you
not
fucking
la- I'm
laugh.
not laughing.
He
All right,
shouldn't
good.
He's
laugh.
just trying to
He
win
had
his
a straight
teammate back.
face.
I'm not laughing.
Listen,
He
he's
did.
trying to kiss ass.
He did.
His nose is
succeeded.
thoroughly brown.
He
right
did
now.
succeed.
No,
I'm
if
clean.
anything, I'm
I'm
putting
clean
my
down
nose. If anything, I'm putting my nose into my own ass because I'm trying to get his confidence up so I can win a fucking tournament. That's what I'm trying.
We're gonna
to
win
do.
this tournament, bro.
Okay,
So,
listen.
I need that win.
We got a lot to go up against.
Time out.
Cookie.
Yes,
If
we
you
do.
guys win, straight out win, if you get first place in this tournament, I will give the rest of my 100 bones to each of you.
Okay.
What?
I will give my other 100 bones. I will give each of you 50
Easy.
if you get the win.
That's easy.
All right, well, that'll just about wrap it up for the show. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for sticking around for these last 20 episodes. It has been one hell of a ride, and we appreciate every single one of you. We love getting the feedback when we're in streaming. This last boxing tournament, huge shout-out to Maddox for all the support there. Huge shout-out to everybody for supporting us here. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Join our Discord channel. Get on Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff. You can find us there at Grab My Banner Pod or at Grab My Banner Podcast. We're all over the place. Thank you guys for sticking around. Don't forget to check out our brand new podcast as well, the Grab My Banner Boxing Championship Podcast. New episode will be out the same time as this one. So go ahead and check that one out. We'll catch you guys on next week. We got a big episode coming out, especially with some Fuse stuff and some Team Deathmatch stuff. So stick around for that. We'll catch you guys next time.